Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hogue, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
Hi, I'm AJ Hogue, the author of Effortless English, Learn to Speak English Like a Native, and the creator of Business English Conversations that teaches you business English, the course that will train you and teach you business English and also a lot of good idioms using real conversations. So conversations between who? Between my father and I, talking about business topics. And it's really a great course. A lot of people love that course. I'm bringing it back, almost ready now. It is ready, but I'm opening it soon. It's not open. It's ready, but it's not open yet. Business English Conversations is the name of the course. You just call it the Business English course. And, my father and I made this course where we discuss business topics. And, with Effortless English, I always teach you more. English is not enough. Just talking about English all the time is boring. Language learning is a nice topic. We're all doing it. And so it's interesting, I think, to all of us. But on the other hand, we are all interested in other topics. We are intelligent people, international family of English learners, language learners. And we like to talk about other topics, talk about business, talk about philosophy, talk about society, talk about fitness and health, talk about gardening, all of these things. We want to use English to discuss interesting things, to listen to interesting things, to read interesting things. Well, it should be the same in business. And the reason I made this course was that, like many English courses in, around the world, you can find most of the business English courses are so boring. My God, are they boring. The business English textbooks, it's all these like fake dialogues, right? These fake conversations with actors reading. And oh my God, are they boring. They're talking about, "Hi, John. What are you doing today? I have a business conference today at 3 o'clock. Oh, well, what will you discuss at the conference? It's about computer engineering, blah, blah, blah." Oh, just, on and on. So fake, so boring. There's nothing really useful. You don't learn any useful business ideas. You don't learn any business skills. Nothing useful for your own life. They're just trying to teach you business English vocab, which is fine. Of course, you want to learn that, but, it's better to learn it in something interesting where you're getting actually useful content, useful ideas, useful skills. And the idea of the Business English course, my Business English course, is that my father and I teach you very powerful, very useful skills to help you in your job or career, to give you real skills, real strategies that will help you, make strong resumes, do a really fantastic job search so you will get a lot of interview offers from your resume and your job search. Then we teach you how to have great job interviews. So when you go into a job interview, especially in English, some of you have to do job interviews in English. That's a lot of extra stress. Job interviews are already stressful. To do it in English is even more stressful. So we give you great strategies, great methods, great skills to do really well in job interviews. And then once you get that job you want, how do you improve in your job? How do you get more respect in your job? How do you make more money in your job eventually? And then how do you move to a better job and a better job in the same company or jump to a different company? So again, we teach you these useful skills. The idea is you will be so focused, you'll be so interested in the useful skills, the useful strategies to make more money, to have a better business career, that you almost forget you're doing it in English. You're learning all this vocab, you're learning all the English, you're learning idioms, but you're doing it while learning very useful skills that are interesting and powerful. So, and that's my basic approach with all my courses, but especially in the Business English course, again, the idea was let's make a Business English course that is useful for business. okay? Not just a bunch of vocabulary and boring conversations. So it's real, it's good. Coming very soon, Business English Conversations. It'll be at my same website, effortlessenglishclub.com, effortlessenglishclub.com. Right, today, Aesop's Fables. We're going to do another story. This is a short one today. So I'm just going through this book, one by one. I'm using the stories in this book. And the next story is number 9. It's called The Fox and the Mask. The Fox and the Mask. Let's do it. I know everyone live. We're live on YouTube. I'll say hello to you after I read the story. So let's just get started right away here. Okay, The Fox and the Mask. Another fox story. Aesop like foxes. A fox entered an actor's house and rummaged through all his properties. Okay. Among other things, he found a mask representing a goblin's head. The work of a talented artist. He took it up in his paws and said, "What a fine head. A pity it has no brain in it." That's the whole story. Now there's a message at the end here. This story reminds us that some men of impressive appearance are deficient in intellect. Okay, so let's go back and let's do this. I'll teach you the vocab. This is only a 1-paragraph story. Okay, so a fox entered an actor's house. So an actor. What does an actor do? An actor pretends to be someone else. That's important for this story. An actor pretends to be a hero, for example, but in real life, they're not heroic, right? They're not, but they can be very good at pretending. So the fox goes into the actor's house and rummaged through his properties. Okay, here's a good word, rummage, to rummage through. And it's the phrase, they go together. To rummage through something means to kind of search through, to look through something. Kind of the idea of when we're rummaging, well, it has the idea of you're doing it quickly, like to quickly search through something. So if you have a box, let's see, I've got a little box of stuff here. Okay. So if you're watching on video, I've got this little box with all these little things. So if I'm rummaging through, it's kind of like I'm quickly just searching, like, one thing after the other, looking through, searching through very quickly. To rummage through. So he's rummaging through, the fox is rummaging through all of the actor's stuff. His properties just means what he owns, his stuff. So he's looking through the actor's stuff. And he finds something. He finds a mask. Okay. Among other things, meaning he found lots of things, but the main thing he finds that's interesting is a mask. What is the mask? It represents, meaning it looks like, a goblin's head. What's a goblin? A goblin's like a monster, kind of like a monster. Just something big and ugly and scary and strong looking. In The Lord of the Rings, goblins are orcs. If you've seen the movies, the orcs, right? The orcs are scary and kind of big and strong and right? Kind of like monsters. That's what a goblin is. So he sees it, and the mask is very impressive, right? The mask looks very scary. The mask looks very powerful. It's the work of a talented artist. So it means a good artist. Talented means has a lot of skill, a lot of natural ability. So the artist created the mask, right? The artist made this mask. Okay, he took it up in his paws. Means he grabs the mask in his paws. What's a paw? P-A-W. P-A-W, paw. A paw is an animal's hands, right? So foxes do not have hands. Humans have hands. Monkeys have hands. Dogs and cats, foxes, they have paws, right? They don't have fingers. They have paws. P-A-W. So he kind of grabs it with his paws, and he looks at the mask, and he says, "What a fine head," right? It's an impressive head. It looks really strong, the mask. What a nice head. A pity means it's too bad. It's a pity. It has no brain in it. So it's just a mask. There's no brain. It's just appearance. So can you see this? Can you kind of get the meaning of it? So the message here, which is very simple and very direct, is that sometimes the appearance is very impressive, very powerful, very scary, right? The mask, if you just see the mask suddenly, but it's only a mask. And behind the mask, there's nothing inside it. It's empty, right? There are no brains inside. There's nothing inside. It's only appearance. And, we get this message from Aesop a lot, to be careful about appearances. This is another message we see going through many of his stories, is this idea of appearance and reality are different, especially with humans, right? That many, many, many humans appear differently than they really are, right? So we've seen that, for example, that some people appear to be kind and friendly, but in fact, they're going to cheat you and lie to you. We see here, the message is, maybe some people appear, because of course these are always about people. These stories are really about human nature. So we have to always understand that. It's not about a mask, really. So what does it mean? It means that some people on the surface, maybe their physical appearance, like they have big muscles, or maybe because of their job or their clothes or something, but on the outside they appear powerful and strong and impressive. Wow. Like actors. Actors are the perfect example. Celebrities. They appear beautiful and charming and amazing on the surface, but we have to be careful because what? Inside, sometimes there's nothing inside. Inside they are empty. Inside they are, in this case, meaning no brains. So inside they might just be stupid, or they might be weak, or just really like no meaning. They're just kind of shallow. We can describe someone as shallow, meaning they don't think deeply. A lot of actors are like this, okay? Many, many actors and celebrities are like this. On the outside, they're really good. They dress so nice, and their hair is always great. And they, in an interview, they can appear very charming and intelligent. But then if you kind of follow them, maybe on social media or other things, you find out actually they're really stupid. They're really stupid, and often they're also really not nice people at all, and they're often very terrible. So again, it's kind of a similar message. So again, the idea, I'll read what this says, but it says, this story reminds us some men, meaning humans, of impressive appearance, right? So some men that look amazing on the outside are deficient in intellect. Deficient means lacking, not having, not enough. Intellect means intelligence. So some men, meaning really some humans on the outside look very impressive, but on the inside they're stupid, or they're foolish, or they're bad, or whatever. So it's again another nice red pill reminder that appearance and reality are different, especially with humans. And see, what's so amazing about this old story is that, again, we can see they knew this 3,000 years ago, okay? I think today we are so much more brainwashed, and we believe appearances so much more now because all this media and all this bullshit, and people just believe it. They watch TV and they just believe it. They don't realize that it's a lie. That it's not true. And social media, so much of social media is just a lie, right? Someone mentioned this. I think it was Motion this weekend mentioned how it was kind of funny that on social media, everybody looks impressive. On social media, it seems everybody's so happy, so impressive, living amazing lives. But if you know them in real life, many times they're not happy. Many times their lives are terrible or not very good. Right? So it's the difference again between appearance and reality. And it's not an old idea. This is it is an old idea. It's something that's been around a long, long, long time. With the technology, we forget this. The mind controls and the propaganda is stronger now with technology. So we've forgotten, but this basic thing, this difference between reality and appearance, people, philosophers and writers and people in general have been warning about this, have seen this for thousands and thousands of years. It's part of human nature. Maybe it's part of reality in general that appearance and reality, and the deeper reality, are very often, not always, but often are very different. So that's the message Aesop's giving us. Be careful. Look more closely. Look more closely, right? He's saying again and again, don't be deceived by appearances. Don't be tricked by appearances. Look more closely. Look more carefully to find the truth. All right. So there you go. That was a short one. One paragraph. I like these stories. They're nice and short. We get a few vocab words there. Rummage is a nice one. That's a fairly common word. Deficient is a nice vocab word. And nice, clear, quick message. Short and simple. I'll go to your comments now. If you have any questions about vocab, I'm going to... Here's some... Dalal wrote the word deficient equals lacking. Correct. Thank you, Dalal. Oh yeah, paw, P-A-W, that's the animals. Some animals have paws, like cats, dogs, lions, bears, foxes. Yeah, Ibrahim sums it up very nicely, Ibrahim Ali, with a super common idiom: don't judge a book by its cover. Right? There you go, in one sentence. I won't be surprised if this comes from Aesop, this idiom. Somewhere we have a story about this. We might, because I haven't read all of them. But yeah, don't judge a book by its cover is a super common idiom. And again, so we can see it's an old idea that appearances, we have to be careful about appearances. Many people who appear amazing, strong, powerful, smart, whatever, honest, kind, they're not really, okay? They're not really. They're just pretending. It's a very common thing. A lot of people do this. So we have to be careful. And I'd say even in general, even outside of just people, we have to be careful about appearances sometimes. Look more deeply. It's good advice in life. Yeah, like another way of saying this, Lou Bomer says, people can have a great personality, but not character. That's another great way to say it. And I'd say, yeah, this is kind of a common thing now. Maybe it is more common now, although I don't know. But this idea, personality is kind of more shallow, right? Remember Stephen Covey in our book we did, 7 Habits, talked about this, the difference between personality and character. Character is the deep inside, right? So deep inside, like character is honesty, right? True honesty, where you're really honest with yourself and with other people. That's character, and that's deep, and it's not easy all the time. It takes some strength to have that, and you have to kind of work at that. But personality is something more like being charming, using good eye contact, smiling a lot. And these things are useful socially. It's not that they're all bad. It's okay to work on your appearance, right? If you have a job interview, so much of a job interview is really about personality and the surface because it's such a short time. So yes, we do need these skills somewhat. If you have a job interview, yes, you want to dress nicely. Yeah, it's just appearance. It's true, it's just appearance. But yes, it's important because it's such a short little experience, the job interview. There's not a lot of time to go deeper. And so you do have to play that game a little bit. But long term, again, character's more important. Good job interviewers will try to find character. They'll ask questions, they'll observe. A really good job interviewer is looking to find the true character. Because every person who interviews, right, the interviewees, we call them, they're all trying to appear charming and confident, and they're all trying to do that, most of them. So then as a job interviewer, right, the boss, you have a tough job because you're trying to get past the appearance. You have to try to figure out, okay, you interview 20 people. They all dress nicely. They all sound good. Which one's the best? Really? Which one's really the best? If they get the job, they'll really do a good job and they'll be a great worker. Which one? It's not always easy to figure that out, right? So it's another example of this. It's a good way to put it, character versus personality. Well, Dalal, again, politicians are great examples for this story. Indeed. Politicians, actors, celebrities, they're all, these kind of public figures. Probably forever, really, but especially now with TV. They're really, really good at the personality part, at the appearances, right? They study it, okay? They use a lot of different techniques. Actors, speakers, all these people. There are lots and lots and lots of techniques, little tricks they use with their eye contact, how they smile, how they use their face, body language, so many things they learn. It's all appearance, and they are very good at it. They're very good. They definitely appear good, strong, honest. They're good at appearing kind. They're good at appearing caring. But we know, in fact, we're smart enough to know from experience and history that most of them are, lying, bad people. So we have to be careful. And, to a lesser extent, it's true for in our normal life, too. Yeah, like Dalal again says, paws equals not having fingers. Although we have to be a little careful because some animals don't have paws. Some of them have hooves. Or one, if it's one, it's called a hoof. Or more than one is hooves. Hooves. I'll type it on the... So hooves is where it's kind of like the hard bottom, like a horse or a goat. What else has a hoof? Those kind of animals, right? Horses and cows, goats. They don't have paws. They have hooves. Paws are soft, but no fingers. Yeah, it's a little complicated. Okay, Sara, with another way to... I like this. You guys are giving different ways of saying the message of the story, and they're all correct. Little bit different perspective, a little bit different view on how to say the message of this story. And Sara says, never judge people by their appearance. You have to deal with them. After that, you can judge them. Yeah, you deal with them. You have some time. You notice their actions. This is a good one, even like in normal life, let's say dating life, because this is one that, I'd say men and women, girls and boys have problems with. But let's say I'll use the male example, that there are a lot of young men who get completely distracted by a girl's appearance, right? She's pretty, and maybe she uses makeup skillfully and her nice hair, and she dresses very nicely in an attractive way. And because of this, the young man is so focused on the appearance that he doesn't notice that, in fact, she's not a very nice person. She's not a very good person. She's selfish, for example, or whatever. And they end up trying to get this girl. Sometimes they do get this girl, and then they become very unhappy because over time, they finally realize, oh, she's terrible. And this girl makes him unhappy. And women do the same thing, right? They see a guy, he seems so cool, so confident, this guy's so amazing, he's popular. And then later, below that, find out, oh, he's kind of terrible. So you got to be careful, right? We've got to be careful. Yeah, Ruslan's true. The easiest way is to always be honest. Yes, it's one of these things in life where it's the simplest way, but it's not always the easiest, because sometimes, to be honest, requires a little skill, because to be honest is very simple, but to be honest and somewhat kind, that's the hard part, right? Like if you need to say something that is maybe not so positive, but it's honest. And maybe you're saying it to someone you care about. So how do you do that in a way so you don't hurt them, but you don't want it to lie either? And we call this being diplomatic or being tactful, where you are able to say the truth, but in a way that's fairly kind. And sometimes saying the truth in a not kind way is good. Like the snake diet guy, I'll use him, Cole Robinson. He's not kind. I think actually... Let me change that. I think in his heart he is kind. I really do. I've watched so many of his videos. I think he really is helping people. And I do think he cares about people, and I think he is kind. But his style is super honest, super direct. It's not tactful. It's not diplomatic. He doesn't try to sound kind. right? He doesn't care about appearance. He doesn't care about appearing kind. He says, you're a fat pig. You're a fat pig and you're lazy and you eat too much. Stop eating. Well, that's honest. It's not so nice, but in a way it is nice. Why? Because he's really helping them. He's telling them the truth. He's telling them the real hard truth. And why is he telling them the truth? Just to be mean? No, because he also has a solution, which is, for him, it's fasting. So he's helping them get healthy. So he does care. He's trying to be kind because he is trying to help them become not fat, not lazy, not sick, to be healthy and happier. But, that's his style. And it's not for everyone. It's not my style. And, some people, maybe you got to say it in a different way. So like with my mom, I try to be honest with her about her health, but I have to be a little more kind, or I want to be. Another nice idiom that's kind of on the same idea. Not all that glitters is gold, from Hoof. There again, it's another idiom. We have a lot of idioms with this idea. Why? Because it's obviously a common thing, okay? In the world, all around the world, you will find idioms with this message. Because, it's a common thing. It's just a common truth of life and of people in general, that appearances and truth are different. Yeah, like Vladislav has a nice example of what I was talking about with girls. Last year I went to Italy with a girl from, Ekaterinburg. I met her in 2016 in Greece. She appeared nice. Then we chatted by WhatsApp. Next time I saw her, I realized I could not stand her. Could not stand means really didn't like her. Right? It happens. This can happen. It's a nice example where, you're traveling. So you meet somebody. Well, when you're traveling, you're on vacation, everybody's in a good mood. It's an exciting environment. Everything's new. This is a new person. You meet new people. People generally try to behave in a good way when they first meet people. And it can all seem very magical and wonderful. And but it's all kind of surface because it's very short. And then later, you maybe try to stay in touch with this person. And over time, you start to realize, oh wow, they're not so great actually, or we don't fit. It's maybe not. It's not that they're bad. It's just that you're actually much more different than you thought, or you don't agree, or whatever. So yeah, it's a common thing in life. Yeah, Pablo with another nice message about being authentic. Pablo Robles says, being authentic and saying the truth. It's more effortless than pretending. You can find inner peace this way. Yeah, it is one of the great advantages of doing that. When you're just authentic, when you're your real self, try to be as honest as you can, then it does bring a kind of mental peacefulness. People who are always worrying about their appearance all the time and trying to appear better than they are, it can become stressful. Matt says, I don't know fasting effect, but you look completely worn out. That is the baby effect, Matt. That is twin babies. If I look, knackered is a British word. Worn out is, we use it in America. It means I look tired. I am tired. You know why? Because I don't sleep. Why don't I sleep? Because I have 2 newborn twin babies. So am I tired? Yeah, I'm tired. It's nothing to do with fasting, and it's everything to do with exhausting little babies. Any of you who've had babies, you all know what I'm talking about. Oh, AJ, before I remark, you drink a lot of water. Now in full summer, you don't. What is the trick? Oh, I still drink a fair amount of water. Just not drinking now during the show. But I haven't been going out so much in the heat. I mean, it's a little hot in here in this room, but because of the babies, it's so hot outside. I don't take the babies out into the full sun during the day. Like before the babies, I would go out in the summer. I would go running. I'd walk in the middle of the hottest part of the day. The Indians used to say mad dogs and Englishmen. Only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. So I was a mad dog. I would go out in the middle of the hottest part of the day. But I'm not doing that now because of the baby. So this is probably the most hot I get right now. Sweating is doing this show. There's some hot lights on me right now. There's no aircon in this room. But I'm still drinking water. Yeah, Humble Boy with a nice comment. Lots of people can become obsessive about appearance. It can destroy their lives. They see these Hollywood stars, in quotes, and they want to be like them, but they look good only in TV because of camera tricks. Yes, it's a good point. Women and men both, who they try to they think that appearance is not natural, guys. It's not real. For these Hollywood people and models, number one, it's camera tricks. Yes, they're using camera tricks. They're using lighting. Okay, they have professional lighters. What are they called? Gaffers? I think so. Anyway, they have professionals who will spend hours preparing the perfect light to make them look good. They're all wearing makeup, including the men, special makeup, to again make everything look great. They're using the camera lens. The camera itself can be used where they make the focus a little softer, so it makes the skin look better. During the editing process, it's called post-production. So after the recording, they do things with computers now to make everybody look better. Okay, they have professional people to do their hair. Every single day, this professional hairdresser is working on their hair to get it all looking perfect just for that moment on the camera. And it's true when they do talk shows, same thing. Anytime they're on video or movies or taking a photo. Models, all these magazine covers you see, that's not real. They're using Photoshop. If they have some skin thing, little spot on their skin, they use Photoshop, they paint over it. They have wrinkles, they paint over. Okay? None of it's natural. If they're even a little fat, they use Photoshop to make them look more thin. It's not real. None of it's real, guys. It's all an illusion. It's all appearance. If you meet these people in real life without makeup, without the professional hair stuff, without the special wardrobe, the special clothes to make them look perfect, if you just put them in normal clothes, like jeans and a t-shirt, and no makeup and just regular hair, they might look pretty, but they will not look like they do in the movie or on TV. They will not be as impressive. You will not think, wow, they're not like a god or a goddess, okay? It's an illusion. And so the sad part is, yes, when normal people think that's real and I want to be like that, it's impossible to be like that because it's not real. You can't. You'll never look like that because they don't look like that, okay? So yeah, be careful. Vladislav with a nice little, cats have paws. They don't have fingers, but instead they have things which are sharp. What are they called in English? Claws. Paws and claws. Sharp claws. C-L-A-W-S. That's right. Dalal says it's 51 degrees centigrade in Kuwait right now. Wow. Now that's hot. That's hot. Yeah, Lisa says, I worked for 2 years as a marketing manager. I quit because I'm an honest person. I can't make things look better than reality. Indeed. Indeed. AJ, where were you born? United States. Yes, my son says, you look so tired about your child, but at the same time, I think you feel happy. Of course I do. Of course I feel happy about them. Sometimes, but yeah, it's the sleep is the thing. It's the most difficult thing. The lack of sleep is hard. But, we'll survive. We'll survive. Say Zohar. Zohar says, how important is appearance in the workplace? It has some importance. As I said, it does have some importance. We can't pretend that it doesn't, because a lot of people notice appearance. I mean, that's what almost everybody notices appearances first, right? That's the first thing you do see. So in any situation where you're trying to make a quick impression, you need a quick decision, you need quick results, then you have to focus on appearance more. It's true. You do. Like a job interview. Appearance is very important. Yes, it is. Character is also important, but character is more about the long term. So once you get a job, I think character becomes more important, but you still need to have some attention to appearance. I think, focusing most of your energy on character is the best thing to do in life in general, but don't totally ignore appearance. Don't totally ignore it, because, again, if you want social results, if you need to get results that are social, that depend on other people, then you have to pay attention to appearance somewhat. It is true, yes. So I'm not saying to totally ignore it. It's just that don't worship it. Don't make it too big. Bidola says, please, some people say don't judge anyone because we don't know them. But how do we separate good from bad if we don't judge? Oh, that's insane. That's kind of this whole equality idiocy. Definitely, you have to judge. Judge people. Judge them. If they're bad, judge them as bad. If they're evil, judge them as evil. If they're liars, judge them as liars. It just means, I think maybe what sometimes people mean is don't judge only by appearance. It's kind of the same message as this story. Don't just judge by appearance, because sometimes the appearance is different, right? So you might, for example, sometimes, let's say, you might see someone in a job situation and maybe they don't dress so nice. They don't wear the best suit. They don't appear to be the most sharp. And so you might think, oh, they're not a good worker, right? The other workers they're dressed so much nicer. They appear so much more professional. But then after some time working the job, you realize, oh, actually, this person is a hard worker. They're really, really good at their job. They're really good. You start to see their character. And you see, their character is actually fantastic. And then maybe the other guy who has the best suit, the expensive suit, maybe he's a little lazy. So that's what that means, I think, is it's just you have to judge, absolutely, but judge what? You will judge appearance. It's only natural. That's going to happen somewhat. But like the message of this story, it's better to judge based on character, judge their character, judge their actions. So you should judge, but you should judge the right things, not just how people appear. Because appearances can deceive you. Hi, Coach. Must be off topic. This is Emmanuel Esposito. Is it vital being loaded as a person? Oh, loaded, like having a lot of money. Because there's a boss of mine who earns 10,000 euros with his business. And he always puts us down and teases us. Yeah, so that's insecurity, guys. So you got to see through the appearance of this. Why would a boss do this? Why would someone talk about that? And try to make you feel bad because you make less than him. He's insecure. There's something inside him where he does not feel confident. And he's trying to use this to feel, to make himself look superior. This is appearance. He's trying to appear But there's something, if you really understand it, you'll realize anyone who's really successful, like I don't talk about how much money I make, right? And most people who are truly successful, they don't need to talk about it, okay? Because they know they're successful. They don't need to say, I make $12,000 a month. Ha ha, more than you. Ha 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 ha. That's someone who's very insecure. So what's he insecure about? I don't know. But Emmanuel, that answer your questions directly, it doesn't matter. He might be $12,000 a month in debt, right? You don't know what his real situation is. Robert Kiyosaki taught us this, right? That it's not just income. What are his expenses? How much is he in debt, right? How much money does he actually save every month? How much financial freedom does he really have? Maybe he has a lot. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But the point is, it doesn't matter, right? What matters is that real financial freedom. And we'll talk about it in our next book, Your Money or Your Life. It's not so much the income number. That's more of people try to use that to appear socially, I don't know. They do try to use it for appearance, but the character, the reality of finances is how much are you saving? How much extra do you have? How much true financial freedom do you have? That's the character. That's the thing to focus on. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. In says, I work somewhere. We had a dress code the same as flight attendants while we were teachers. Interesting. I don't know if it's related to this story, but I just remembered. Right. So, some businesses do this because businesses realize that when they deal with customers, that the appearance can be important. So probably the business wanted to have a nice appearance, the teachers to appear nice. Because, and it's true, a lot of teachers dress badly. And so it's, right, it gives a bad first impression to the students of maybe they don't seem serious. It's a little bit why you'll notice that sometimes, like if I do a seminar, right, if I go to speak to, say, a company or a group, I'll wear a suit. Why? It's for this reason. Maybe they don't know me. A lot of people in the audience, maybe they don't know me. They don't listen to me an hour every day like you do. Okay? So they don't know my character at all. So they're going to pay more attention to my appearance. And so I realize this, and I don't want my appearance to distract, right? I don't want my appearance to create any kind of negative idea for them. I want them to listen to my ideas. So I'll dress very nicely, so I look nice. They, okay, he looks good, and they listen to me. And then, hopefully then, during the seminar, they hear more of my character, my ideas, and so this is, again, that's why in a job interview, you want to dress nicely. Don't wear, bad clothes to a job interview because, again, you don't want them to look at your clothes and think, this person's lazy, and then they don't listen to you, right? So you want to go ahead, dress very nicely, and they like your appearance, then they listen more to and notice your character more. So it is important. It has its place. Now, with time, it's less important. So like I said, in this show, I'm doing a show every day almost. So you guys know my character. I talk about lots of topics. You know me quite well. And, I dress very casually. This is me. This is how I normally dress every day. I don't dress differently. But I don't need to wear a suit to do this show because you all know me. And it's you listen to me over a much longer time. You can see the deeper character. So the appearance is much less important. Mahdi with a nice question. How do you choose a good book? There are lots of books out there on the same topic. Some people write them to make money. Well, that's a really good question, in fact. You're right. And more books, so many books written every year. This is why I say I recommend, in general, choose older books. So if you're going to read about human nature, choose Aesop or, I don't know, Aristotle or Plato or the Bhagavad Gita or something like that. Choose a very old book, or the Odyssey or the Iliad. Choose an old book because you're going to get, I think, more wisdom and more truth generally from old books, because those old books have been tested for a long time by many generations and found to be good. Whereas a new book that just came out this year, who knows? Maybe it's good, maybe it's garbage. It's hard to know. So I think that's a good way to choose. Another good way to choose is recommendations from people that you like and trust, people who are, well, they say very successful. So let's say in, for example, the area of business, there are thousands and thousands and thousands, maybe millions of business books. How do you know which one's good? Well, find business people that you like, that are successful, that you trust somewhat, and ask them, what business books did you read? What business books do you recommend? So you get that recommendation from them. So maybe they read 100 books, but 90 were not very good, but they can tell you the 5 or the 10 books that are the best, and they'll give you that. I mean, that's why I'm doing the book club. I'm trying to introduce some good books to you. And you can find other podcasts and other websites and other people who do the same. So those are good ways to start with choosing. It's a good question. It's a really good question. Okay, a couple more, guys. Another nice little idiom from Susanna. Meet by clothes, see off by mind. Yeah, that's nice. So when you first meet, you're going to notice the clothes, the appearance, the personality. And then over time, you notice the mind, the thinking, the actions. Yes, I think that's how it normally works. Yeah, here's another nice idiom, an Uzbek idiom. Uzbekis say, do not stand behind the untested horse because it may kick. Right. It's the same idea, right? Until you know the horse and its behavior, be careful. Be careful around and of course they're talking about people, right? Be careful around unknown people until you find their character. Then you know. Are they going to kick you, right? Are they going to harm you or lie to you or not? Yeah, like Ruslan says, old books are cheap as well. That's another great advantage. These old classic books are very cheap. You can even find them free in some websites. There's no copyright anymore. But even if they're, you can also just find them very, very, very cheap. Oh, okay. Emmanuel asking about Link. Do you recommend starting off with Link, designed by Steve Kaufman? I noticed you're also learning with it. Do you get good results? Yes, I like it. I like Link. I'm using it for Japanese, so it depends. I don't know. Like, they've got a lot of languages, so I can't say for, I think each language on Link is a website. It's spelled LINGQ. It's for language learning. And they've got lots of languages on there. And each language has a different amount of content, right? So some of them are newer and have less content. And maybe, I don't know, maybe not as good. And then others have a huge amount. So I can't say for every language, but I will say for Japanese at my current level that I'm quite enjoying it. They have some mini stories on there that are right at the perfect level for me now as a beginner. So yeah, I do recommend it. Very nice. It's a good website. He's a great guy. He obviously knows what he's talking about for learning languages. He's an expert. He's done it so many times. I've used it for Spanish also. With Spanish, I used, first of all, Unlimited Spanish. That would be my first recommendation. UnlimitedSpanish.com mini stories, starting at a very low level. He's got a beginner one, and then kind of the next level. And that's what I started with most of all with Spanish. Really, really good. That's Oscar in Barcelona. And then as I got to the end of those, then I next jumped over to Link and started to use some of their content. I imported my own book in Spanish, and Oscar actually did a Spanish audiobook of my book. So that was great because I already knew all the content, obviously, because I wrote it. And then I quite like Steve's book. I used it in Spanish also, and it has audio. And so, yeah, very nice. Good stuff. I like Steve. I like Link, and I always recommend them. So for Japanese and Spanish, at least, yes. Other languages, I don't know. Yeah, like Zohar says again, the best appearance will catch our attention fast. And this is the truth. But best character steals our heart forever. Yes, that's exactly right. Appearance is about attention. That's what catches attention quickly. It's the speed. It's the immediate. It catches your attention. So there are situations in life where you need to catch that attention first. And when that's necessary, you do need to focus on appearance. And indeed, advertising and marketing and sales, you have to focus on this somewhat. You can't ignore it. And some people are uncomfortable with this, but you have to do it because without the attention, they never learn anything. They're never going to buy anything. And even in something like dating, okay, if you're single, you have to focus on your appearance somewhat, okay, because it is the first thing. Now, later, you need to have good character, hopefully, and hopefully they do, but don't ignore appearance. Just use it as a tool. Yeah, Pablo says it well. The cover is the short term. Content is long term of the book are both important. The point is not to judge just by the cover, which most people do. Be better prepared. That's right. And in fact, if you write a book, by the way, and you try to sell it, you will realize the cover is important. The cover is important, okay? If you just go to a bookstore and you look around at books, how do you grab one to look at it? It's the cover or the title, right? You're not looking, you don't know the character, you don't know the deep. It gets your attention somehow. A good title or a good cover will get your attention. You'll grab that book, and then what do? You open it and you look through it. So it does have some importance. If a bad cover, often a book will be ignored if the cover's bad or the title's bad. And that's really bad. It's sad because maybe the book is actually very good, but the title's terrible. And so it gets ignored. That's a bad situation. We don't want that. So, yeah. But it's also a bad situation. It's a common situation where you have a great cover and a great title, but then there's nothing inside, really. That's what our story is about today. All right. Ruslan says maybe you should write Cole Robinson one more time. I'll try again. I'll try him on Facebook. I tried him by email. I'll try to message him on Facebook. I think he's more active there. I really want to interview him. Nina says, Nina Ellis, let me see if I can see this. Nina Elisiva. Long time ago, I met a successful man who had a very simple button phone. I thought it was weird. Later, with all this iPhone and social media addiction, I realized the guy was smart, right? Probably why he was successful, because he didn't waste time. Yeah, like Zibinek says, connecting it to Brave New World. Pretenders are part of this Brave New World. There's a lot of glory, right? A lot of glory, a lot of attention for actors or singers who are drug addicted or alcohol addicted. It's terrible. Indeed, the pretenders and appearances are celebrated in our media. The character is ignored. Oh, hey, by the way, tell you what, let me just change topics here. Because we should talk about let's do an update on our challenge. Let's do a challenge update before we go. Okay, gonna go over here. This is my Gab, gab.com, AJ Hogue. This is our Gab group. You can see lots of people are posting. They're posting what they're doing each day, which is cool. People are posting links like here's a nice interview with Robert Kiyosaki that someone watched. And here's Anish saying, showing he did like 5 hours total, and he did The Matrix, he did different podcasts. So people are sharing lots of their strategies, what they're listening to, what they're reading. All this stuff is great, man. This is fantastic. Good job. Over here on our challenge, we've got our listening challenge. Whoops, sign back in. People posting some big numbers. Sven, Julia, Rafikul, I am Perimal, Jose, Emmanuel, Shko, Julia, Buratokiman, and Nicolo Giuseppe. Top 10 there in the listening. And some big hours, man. In 5 days, those are some large numbers of hours listening. Good for you guys. Very nice. And then over here on the reading challenge, and I'm going to talk about reading in a minute. Carol is just doing fantastic with the reading. So is Roberto de Santos. Zibanek also. Wow, big reading numbers. Hickam. Hasina, nice. Sven also there. Rafikal also doing that. Tahara, Inderpal, and Rinky. Let's talk about this really quickly because I want to just talk about something I've realized about my own challenge. So I'm doing pretty well. I'm quite happy with my own numbers. Although yesterday, had a hard day yesterday. But I've mostly been doing listening, as I've said. And the reason I'm doing listening is mostly because of babies. It's hard for me to have time to sit down and just focus without the babies going crazy. But I have realized something, that reading is important, guys, because it's reading where vocabulary grows the most, more than listening. Listening is still, I think, number one overall for our speaking, but we should not forget reading. We should not neglect it, because I realize myself, I'm listening to these mini stories. I'm listening to these other stories I have in Japanese, and some things are improving. Like, I'm hearing more words. I'm sort of getting more comfortable with sentence structure in Japanese, which for me is very difficult. And I guess the speed of my understanding is getting a little better. Like in the beginning, it just seemed so fast, so super fast. Like, I can't catch anything. And now I'm catching more of the words, right? More of the general idea. All of these things, very good with listening. And some of the stories maybe I've listened to 45 times already. But I realized I kind of hit a point where that with some stories that I need to go back and read them again, because maybe I'm hearing the words more now, but some words I just don't know. And I can't guess them. Like, I just can't figure out what they mean. So I noticed that if I go back and I read again, after a lot of listening, when I read, I'm like, there's that word. And then I'll get it, and boom, it'll stick in my memory better after I read it a few times. Like, much faster with the reading to catch the vocab. The listening has other benefits too, but the reading is important in that way. And the other thing is that sometimes with listening, there's just some words I don't notice. Maybe you have this, right? I know in English sometimes maybe you're listening and you just miss the prepositions like in or on or at. Like, maybe you just don't hear them for some reason. If the speaking is very fast and they just go, and you kind of don't, you notice the verbs, you notice the nouns, you notice the general meaning, but you miss some of those smaller words. And this happens with me in Japanese a lot. There's just certain words that I don't know why, I just never seem to hear them. I never notice them. Even after 50 times listening the same story, the same sentences, that I'll just miss these certain words. And only when I read, only if I go back and I read, I'll go, and I'll notice a word, and I'm like, there's that word. Interesting. And then next time I listen, I finally notice the word. I finally hear it again. I finally hear it. So the reading will help me notice more words, and sort of make the vocab stick in my brain more. And of course, the listening is what's really helping my brain get used to the Japanese and get the phrases and all of these things. So yes, I still think listening is number one, but let's not forget reading. I realize myself right now, I feel like I'm not reading enough. I wish I had more time for reading because I'm doing probably 95% listening right now, which is good. It's still helping. I'm still improving. But I feel like, if I could increase the reading to like 20% or, maybe 25%. So maybe, 75% listening and then 25% reading every day. I think that would be better for me right now. And for you all, because you're a higher level than I am, your English is definitely better. You all, I think as you go up higher and higher in level, that reading becomes even more important because that's really where you get a huge amount of vocab. So is listening still number one? It always is, I think. But I think the percent of reading ideally should increase as you get higher in your ability. So maybe it starts at 5% and then it goes to 10 and then 15 and then 20, 30, 40%, something like that, where the balance, you do a bigger chunk and bigger piece in reading if you can. If you can. And sometimes you can't. I can't right now. I just can't do it. So I'll do what I can. I use my time with listening because I can deal with my babies and still listen. And some of you are like this also. You're too busy and you just don't have the time for sitting down and focusing only on reading. So use that time for listening. It's fine. But overall, I just want to notice, because I notice, the numbers are much bigger for the listening, but I think these reading people here, like Carol and Roberto and Zibanek and etc., they're going to get a big benefit from all this reading. They're really going to benefit a lot with their vocabulary. So good job, you guys. Okay, I think that's about it. All right, that's all, guys. I'm going to go. I got to go take care of babies, as I said. So let's remember our vocab. What is it? Rummage. Rummage through, search through very quickly. Paws are the feet of certain animals like foxes or bears or dogs or cats. And what was our other one? I forgot the other one. Deficient. Deficient means lacking or not enough. We often say deficient in this or deficient in that. So it means not having enough of something. Deficient in intelligence, meaning not enough intelligence, lacking intelligence. All right, lots of love to you. I will be back again tomorrow with another show. Keep going with the challenge. Again, it's all about these guys are doing great, but, just be happy with your own efforts. It's helping me a lot to keep me motivated to do my best. Yes, some days, like yesterday, it was a shorter day. Actually, today for me. But it's okay. Overall, my hours are much more than normal, thanks to this challenge. So just keep trying to improve yourself. And thank you for all of you for helping and being positive. See you on our Gab group, gab.com, @AJHogue. And see you tomorrow. Join my VIP program at effortlessenglishclub.com. Commit, don't quit at effortlessenglishclub.com.